Everyone has been raving about the X200 Pro. And I've also had so many comments on, Karan, why haven't you reviewed the X200 Pro yet? Why has this phone become so popular? Is it really that good, or is there something you need to be careful about? Look, make no mistake, this is a camera-centric phone, clearly. But is it really the best camera smartphone? And even more importantly, can it replace your other flagships? That is the real question. Well guys, it's been around 3 months now, and here's what you need to know. I'm not going to blabber just about the camera, because when you're getting a phone, you get it for how it looks, the software, the consistent performance, battery, the display, and sure, the cameras. And so does it smell like a flagship? Well, I've got some interesting thoughts. Let's start with design. I personally like the design. I like the color, it's classy, it's got a glass back with a satin matte finish, and I like the brushed aluminum vibe of the frame. But that camera bump, it does turn heads. It definitely feels top heavy, and you're not sure where to exactly place your hands given the big bump size. But over time you adapt, you grow into it, and it kind of gets fed into your muscle memory. Also, there's no sudden flat sharp edges. The whole thing around the edges and the corners provides a very soft, comfortable, natural grip. Also, you can easily use it flat on the table without rocking. I'm guilty of doing that, especially while I'm eating. And as part of the design, I genuinely think the display looks good. Bezels are symmetrical all around, and every time I pick the phone up, turn it on, it looks good. Now, just for your info, it's got IP68 and 69 water and dust resistance, and it's got armor glass protection on top. Now, this is not the same Gorilla Glass armor. I mean, it's a different company, but it's got some protection, and so far, it looks good. Now, these guys could have gone for Gorilla Glass Victus 2 or something, but I suspect they wanted to just keep their prices really competitive, and so they skipped it. And yeah, you get the dual SIM version in India, no microSD card slot, and yes, there is eSIM support in it. Now, I don't want to spend too much time talking about the display, but it looks really good. It's a 6.78-inch LTPO AMOLED 10-bit HDR display, and all the while, watching movies or TV shows, it actually looks fantastic. Netflix supports HDR playback, as do other OTT platforms. It's nice and bright, so even while using outdoors, absolutely no issues. Even while gaming, it looks pretty good. The touch response, the colors, the graphic quality, and just the overall experience is quite nice. Though the only area that I felt needed improvement was actually the speakers. Look, they're mostly good, but I do think they lack bass. And I started to look for Dolby Atmos sound effects, which aren't there. But there's a super audio setting that kind of tries to do the same. But yeah, I do think just a bit more bass would have added more of that flagship effect to the phone. Also, I did find out the cost of replacement of the display if in case you break it. It's about 18,000 rupees plus some labor charge. Just extra information. Now guys, one thing that many people have questions or doubts around is the chip inside this, the processor. So it's got MediaTek 9400, and most people go like, MediaTek? Look, it's fast, okay? It's MediaTek's flagship chip. Things are super snappy. Like, I've never for once felt that the phone's laggy or slowing down or anything like that. It just flies as good as you'd notice on phones that have Snapdragon 8 Elite. I know, the 8 Elite on paper has higher performance than the MediaTek 9400, but if you look at real-time performance and how manufacturers implement it on their phones, you won't be able to tell the difference. Even the game lobbies run super smooth all the way up to 120 FPS. Guys, there are phones with Snapdragon 8 Elite that runs these game lobbies at 30 FPS, so definitely great optimization at Vivo's end. Even while gaming, super smooth performance, no heating issues, consistent frame rate. I was playing Asphalt, and while the native frame rate of the game is 60 FPS, I could run it on the X200 Pro at 90 FPS. In fact, while playing PUBG, I can go in here and boost frames, which gets me 120 FPS with super resolution turned on in HDR quality. And despite playing non-stop for about an hour, it only warmed up to 36 degrees, which is commendable. And I can tell you this, pick any other flagship phone that costs more than 1 lakh rupees, you will not get this performance. And FYI, it's got a 6000 mAh silicon carbon battery. In my usage, I was typically left with about 30 to 35% battery life, and that's really nice for a flagship level smartphone. The phone comes with its own charger and charges up fairly quickly as it supports 90 watt wired charging. There's also 30 watt wireless charging support, so that's pretty good. I mean, through and through, it's flagship performance, and I've got absolutely no complaints. Okay, now, I really want to talk about the elephant in the room, and that's the software on Vivo phones. So it's got FunTouch OS 15. Look, it's not bad. It's really smooth. It's based on Android 15. Switching apps is easy and quick. Launching apps and just getting work done, it's all effortless. And it's got a ton of options to customize things like different always-on displays, customize the look of your UI, decide on color themes, and even color your app icons to match your home screen wallpaper. You can also download more themes to make your phone look and feel fresh every once a week. It's also got the option to add more users within the phone. And so that way you can create a separate profile or a user for, let's say, your child, if you want to give your phone to them to listen to music or watch YouTube or something. There are also some really interesting gestures as well. So let's say like your phone is ringing. You just pick it up and place it next to your ear and the call is answered. Or if you're talking hands-free and you place it next to your ear, it turns off the speaker and shifts to the earpiece. I can just press the volume down button to turn the flashlight on or off. I also discovered there's voice isolation in the phone, which is very useful for calls. But overall, I just think FunTouch OS needs a bit more polishing. For example, if you look at the notifications, it doesn't look as clean as some other UIs that we see now. Club notifications could be more spaced out and probably a more transparent notification shade instead of completely opaque ones. And even if I choose to reply within the notification window, it kind of feels a bit abrupt. There's no functional wallet functionality. There's no things like, tap to pay or secure folder, things that you generally find in Samsung's One UI. I mean, just having those things on this phone would just make it so much more desirable. And it does come with 4 years of, upgrades. So 4 generations of Android upgrades you'll get on this, which is still not at par with what Google and Samsung provide, which is like 7 years. But yeah, 4 years is not that bad. Anyway, that's it about the X200 Pro's FunTouch OS 15. I do hear rumors that FunTouch is going to go away and we're going to get Origin OS in India. That would be good news. But anyway, let's move on to cameras. Look, honestly, I could do a whole video or maybe 2 videos about, the camera quality, the camera performance, and the software that's on this phone. But I'm going to try to keep it simple and answer the more important questions. First, is this the best camera smartphone that you can get right now? And second, what's in this phone that's so much more special that the entire YouTube community is going gaga over it? Now, to answer the first question, I compared it with the S25 Ultra and the iPhone 16 Pro. Okay, just looking at the first picture here, I'm amazed at the quality of the picture taken by Vivo. And just look at the texture of the foam on the coffee. Here, I think the X200 Pro did a bit extra. It's a bit too pink and bright. I think the S25 Ultra did a pretty good job here. Even here, I think the X200 Pro took the most vibrant shot. Even when it comes to human portraits, although here I felt the S25 Ultra did the best, but the X200 Pro did a very good job as well. iPhone just feels overly natural and dull. In this, iPhone has great edge detection and natural colors, but again, too dull for a photo. The S25 Ultra and the X200 Pro really punched it up, and it's just a more pleasing photo to share. Also, the X200 Pro can take multifocal portraits and you can go really close to a subject by just zooming in and not losing quality or detail. And guys, I'm just going to leave a link in the description so you can actually go ahead and download all of these pictures and just evaluate the quality by yourself. You don't have to listen to me. When it comes to selfies, I don't think there's any competition. The X200 Pro selfies are easily the best. The vibrance, the skin tones, I mean, every time. If I had to, I would only click a selfie with the X200 Pro. In case of zoom as well, I just quickly took some 5x photos and the clarity and the sharpness from Vivo outperformed both. Though I have to tell you that the X200 Pro does use AI more aggressively to sharpen these pictures, but honestly, they're just cleaner and they're just more usable than the other two, so I don't see a problem with that. But you know what? Let's talk about low light, and this is where the X200 Pro just nails it. Look at this picture and see how well the X200 Pro captured it. The S25 Ultra has this green tint, the iPhone 16 Pro has this magenta tint, but you can tell the X200 Pro is not only brighter and better, but also the colors are so well done. Even here, look at how clear the lighting around the word FIO is. Check out the orange color on the wood, and just look at the clarity and the way the light is handled. It's insanely sharp. And by the way, in general, the X200 Pro will handle glare and reflections better, whether it's, peak daytime or low light, because of that T-star coating. So images are 100% going to be clearer. Even in terms of low light video, the X200 Pro takes a brighter video with less noise and with much less breathing. In fact, just look at how sharp the trees are in the X200 Pro video compared to the other two. There is also a 50 megapixel high resolution portrait shot that can be activated. And photos taken that are crazy detailed. If we just zoom in, you'll see just how detailed the portrait from the X200 Pro is. There's nothing like that on any other flagship. I mean, honestly, there is no doubt that this is the best camera smartphone in the market right now. There's just no phone that comes close to it, both from a hardware and a software level. But, it goes a step ahead and it can take photos that no other smartphone can even think of taking right now. For example, it's got a telephoto macro and that thing is insane. So here are some pictures that I took casually. I mean, you'd usually require a whole other level of camera gear to get these shots, and if you notice closely, you can literally notice the scales on the wings and the detail in the eyes. Of course, there is some AI work that's happening to, increase that sharpness and get that extra details in. But who cares if the job done is actually so good? There's also a street mode, which is great for street photography, and there are inbuilt filters and modes that can be used to really add that street photo vibe to your pictures. Even for videos, you can shoot 4K up to 120 FPS and with very high bit rates, along with the flexibility to shoot log videos. To be honest, there's like an insane level of features in just the camera app itself, and if I talk about everything, it could be a whole other 15-minute long video. But yeah, I can't say this enough. Best camera smartphone. So, my final thoughts. And I don't want to do this without the price in context. The phone sells for 95,000 rupees in India, but with the 7,000 cashback included, you can get it for about 88,000. That too, for a 512 GB internal storage and 12 gigs of RAM. And for that price, I think the vivo X200 Pro made the right kind of compromises to give you near flagship experience, but at a pretty decent price. Things like not putting Gorilla Glass. Speakers could have been better. 4 years of OS upgrade over 7 years by other flagships, which is still not that bad. And the FunTouch OS not being that refined. But I feel that these are okay compromises to give you a phone that's got high performance, an incredible set of cameras, and something that looks also pretty premium and classy. But yeah, that's it guys about the vivo X200 Pro. I hope this video was really helpful to you guys and helped you decide whether you need to get this phone or something else. But if there's still any doubts, comments or questions, please put them in the comment section. I'll definitely help you out. But don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel guys, hit that bell notification icon and mark all. Really helps the channel grow. I'll see you guys in the next one.